Alright everyone, so welcome back. Today we are going to be doing theories of self-development. And so we'll just look at a few key theories that are important here. So the development of self. The self is our experience of a personal identity which is separate and different from all other people. Sociologists believe that the self is created and modified through interaction during the lifespan. And so this is just about our self-identity, our personality, and how this kind of is created throughout our life. And so, in other words, when we get positive response from other people, we might like the feeling that we get, and so we will replicate this behavior to get this feeling. This might even help shape our personality and sense of self. Thus, our interactions with other people are going to shape our sense of self. Okay, so we'll talk about a few theories. So Freud is going to be very much associated with psychology and psychoanalysis. His theories have been used to some extent within sociology to try to get a sense of self and social behavior. I'll be honest, I'm not a Freud fan. I think he's been widely discredited within psychology and sociology, but this is some background stuff that I would like to give. And so it is widely acknowledged that Freud was one of the most important social thinkers of the 20th century. Many of his ideas to the ego are very important. And so he believed that personality and sexual development were closely linked. He posited that self-identity goes back all the way to earlier development stages like breastfeeding and toilet training. Cooley. So this is a sociologist. And Cooley believed that the sense of self depends on seeing oneself reflected in other interactions. And so the theory or the concept he created is called the looking glass self. And this is the notion that the self develops through our perception of others' evaluations and appraisal of us. In other words, we like to get a positive response from people, so we try to replicate that, because we want to continue to get positive response. We use other people as a mirror. And so in this example, when we style our hair and we look in the mirror, we wait for the person looking back to say, this looks good. We good. And then we decide that we like our style and that this is working. And so this is really about how other people see us and how we see ourselves in turn. Okay. George Herbert Mead. And so Mead expanded Cooley's ideas, and so he also believed the self was created through social interaction. And so what focused here for Mead is that this process started in childhood. And so Mead believed that the self develops through 3 stages in childhood. One is the preparatory stage, which is mimicking. And so here is when children are going to be imitating and mimicking people around them. They are not really processing what they're doing. They see parents talking with their hands, and then they're just kind of and they're just mimicking to mimic. Then we have the play stage, taking the role of the significant other. And so here is where children pretend to play the role of their significant other. And so they're demonstrating this idea and they're internalizing what they see. And so here, I tend to look at it from the gender perspective, because we have toys that are kitchen for little girls, and we have something like tools and car mechanic toys for little boys, and they tend to mimic what they see. And so like my daughter has a little kitchen set and she mimics me when I'm cooking, right? And so it doesn't mean that that's the only thing she sees from me, and she doesn't see my husband cook, but they tend to be very gendered for whatever reason. For many reasons. And then the generalized, or the last one is the game stage, playing organized games. So in this 3rd stage, this is where children are able to play organized games, and they take the perspective of others. And so by this point, they're older, and they're able to process. Like, for example, I'm a baseball fan. I've played softball most of my life. And so by a particular point, I'm not sure if this is like 8 or 10, something like that, where you start understanding that my role in this position, I know what I have to do if the ball gets hit to me. And if the ball gets hit over there, I know I have to move this way. At this point, you understand your role as your position, but you're also understanding other people's role. So now you have this complex, in-depth understanding of your position in a game or in the world at this point, right? And then the last point to know is generalized other is the common behavioral expectations of others. This is when you're fully socialized. So this third stage that we're talking about here, this means you're already you're already socialized at this point. You understand the expectations people have of you, and you have expectations of other people as well. And so, yeah, that wraps up this section. We're going to have multiple little short sections for this one. Yeah, I'll wrap up this. Email me if you have questions. Bye.